Check. Wow, weird. I didn't change any settings on my audio and it just decided to do something else. Very strange. And guy next door just decided he wanted to do some construction right when I started the live stream. So might hear some saws in the background. Oh man. Okay, so I don't have any slides or anything today. I don't know how cool it is to restream somebody's stream, but kind of what I'm doing. You can hear their audio and man. So yeah, last night my Facebook account was terminated. I'm not sure which meme it was, but it was one of these. I posted these two right before I got terminated. It wasn't even 2 minutes. I found these two. I thought they were funny. I mean, they're a little aggressive, but not that much. And all right. So I don't know which one of these it was, but it doesn't matter. Because my Facebook account's gone and it's not coming back. So talked to several people that had lost Facebook accounts and watched some videos, and you know, so I read some articles from some other people that had had the same thing happen, and there's just no way to get it back short of suing, you know, spending some money and then hiring an attorney and suing them. And even then, like, who knows, you know, it's in the end, it's their fucking platform. They can do whatever they want, you know, and you know, if I owned it, I don't know, I might be the same way. I don't know, because if I didn't want somebody on my platform that I own, I didn't like them, fuck you, get off here. Censorship or no censorship. But the problem we've got here is that now social media is very close to a utility because it's so ubiquitous, and they have near monopolistic powers now. Not even near. Who are we kidding? They have their fucking monopoly. I mean, where are you gonna go other than Facebook, Twitter, YouTube? I mean, that's the entire internet. So, I don't know. It's good and bad both, though. So my account is so back to what I started to say. So I came to the conclusion, short of suing them, you know, and you know, who knows if you even get it back. You know, there's a whole lot of history in my Facebook account that I'd rather be gone too, you know. But there is still a whole history that it's a bummer. It's like 11 years I figured out. 11 years of posting on that platform, you know, and that's a lot of personal creative energy, because when you're posting on Facebook, it's your creative energy going into that. No matter what level of creativity you apply to it, whether you go full on and do some fancy live streams or whatever, or videos, even to just a basic post, it's your creative energy. You're using your unique talents, skills, abilities, and history in the world to Cole says makes you feel empty inside, doesn't it? Just kidding. Not empty. I did feel it for a second, like a second. I did feel this thing missing for a second, but then immediately it was like, oh fuck, man, this is kind of cool. There's a lot of positives to it. You know, I've kind of been poking the bear for a little while, and you know, I said some pretty radical things about Facebook anyway, and you know, fuck them. But in the end, you know, it's a private company. The way the laws are right now, they're a private company, and they, through whatever means, grew to be big, you know, and now they're, like I started to say, they've got, they're very close to a utility meaning something like your electricity or your water or your cable is now even considered a utility, and your phone service, things like that, internet service even now is a utility. And what that means is that a utility, they can't shut you off because of some sort of, they don't like you or some sort of political thing. You know, there's all kinds of laws around that protect that. Equal access utilities. Well, with social media, the way it's become such an ingrained part of everyone's lives, and now these companies making hundreds of billions of dollars, and you know, all the stuff that's happened, and now especially the privacy shit. So, and everybody concerned about their data being stolen. I don't know. It's weird because I don't understand it. The fucking internet is nothing but a giant data gathering machine. What the fuck people expect? We've known this for 30 years, and now all of a sudden people are pissed off because of Facebook. No, Facebook just made money off of it better than anybody. Now everybody's got this fake fucking outrage. I mean, I get it, you're outraged, but why weren't you outraged 20 years ago when I was talking about this shit? Anyway. So, well, because these are very close to being such monopolistic powers, they've got the ubiquitousness of a utility. That's what Trump is talking about. He just tweeted today that he, or maybe it was last night, but within the last 24 hours, he tweeted that he's considering an executive order to remove bias from social media. That means that those things would be a utility. It means they can't say shit, and they would have to allow anyone and everyone. And so there's a line. And so obviously everybody's got this line at, well, we don't want to have people posting child porn on Facebook, right? That's the extreme. Or murder, or gory shit like that. Okay, so, but where's the line? So that line from there moves, ratchets back. Well, the line for me is these two memes. And Facebook, well, that's not for me. Facebook's line for me, anyway, was these two memes. So I don't know what kind of state we're in. We've been in a digital World War III for a while. And I wanted to look up this quote. I just thought of it. I can never remember this guy's name. The monk or a priest. First, they came for the Jews. Here we go. Martin Niemöller. Never remember his name. I actually stood next to this exact. Oh wait, no, not this one. Well, this was in Boston. The first one is in Munich. That's odd that they showed this one. Well, they've got a engraved thing like this in Munich, Germany, just not far from Dachau, which is one of the worst concentration camps. And I took a tour, and we ended at this thing in Munich, and it's a famous thing he said. And if you're not familiar with it, I'll read it to you. Here it is. He was a priest. Da, 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 da. I don't remember his entire story, but I remember he ended up getting arrested and I think taken to a concentration camp, just like a lot of Jews did, and I don't think he was a Jew. So this was his famous phrase that he wrote. He said, "First they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. But then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." And that's pretty fucking profound, man. So here's a longer one. Anyway, there's been a lot of versions of that popping up over the years, of course, and now it's become a thing with the idea of censorship here. And I don't know if it's censorship that I've experienced on Facebook and other social media platforms. Shit, I've had so many accounts terminated on YouTube, I lost count. I've had over 100,000 YouTube accounts terminated. I didn't do anything wrong. They just didn't like how you automate things. We figured out how to crack the code on some stuff with automation. They don't like it. Nothing illegal, nothing immoral. Stupid shit. So I've been getting accounts terminated for as long as these platforms have been around. I've always found a crack in their fucking terms and conditions. So it's nothing new to me. However, they've never terminated a personal account where I just posted photos and funny things and connections with friends, and you know, that's new. I still have my personal YouTube account. I have my personal Twitter account for all these years, a couple decades almost. And I wonder when my Twitter account was formed. I was pretty early on Twitter. It usually says around here. Wow, August 2007 is when I joined Twitter. So 12 years. Wow. 12 years on Twitter. 33,000 tweets. So, and I barely use Twitter. So imagine what my Facebook was. I think I joined Facebook in 2008, which meant 11 years I've been on Facebook, and I use it a lot more. Obviously, I wonder how many posts I did. I'd like to know that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to have. And there were a couple of posts that I had handwritten recently that I hadn't saved anywhere, and I wanted to, and I just never got around to it, and now they're gone. So they're just lost to history. But that's another problem with social media. It's you know, they are literally leeching off of you via, you know, just taking your energy. So your creative energy goes into these platforms, and then, you know, they have a stream of consciousness they call a wall that just, they know for how this works. They just, these constant stimulations visually. They don't give a shit about audio, any of it. It's just visual stimulations constantly will keep people just engaged with this shit. And the ideas of likes and followers and views and all these things are all these little dopamine kicks that they know. It's been studied through gamification studies for decades that these things help us feel like we belong to something, which gives us a little dopamine kick. It's a little bit of, hey, I might be good enough, you know? And we want that. It fades off and wears away very quickly, so we want more and more and more and more of that. And they fucking know that. And they engineer it, constantly drilling in to eke out the last little percentages of click-through rate and engagement they can do by just treating us like monkeys. We're friggin' lab rats. We're monkeys in a lab that they do flashing lights over here and then this color flashing light over here, and they gauge our response. Whichever response gets them further for more value for their shareholders and more data that they can sell down the road, that's what they're going to do. And they don't give a fuck whether that one light that's flashing that's got them the result. They don't give a shit if that light that's doing that might be messing you up somehow. What if it's a light from a welder and their best result is that you're staring with it, your eyes wide open? Well, we know you're going to go blind. Well, they don't give a fuck. If they would make money off of that somehow and nobody complained about it, they sure would. That's just what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a corporate beast who it's I mean, there are people in there that are not good people who have some egos and all that stuff, but that's everywhere. In the end, at the size of these companies get, every company that gets this size turns shitty at some level. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're dealing with. I've had a lot of run-ins lately with AT&T and some of these other big companies. Man, it's just state of our world, man. We've let these corporate takeovers. So what's happened is it's a magic trick, man. Look over here while the real magic trick is going on in the other hand. So I'm saying look over here, look over here, look over here, look over here. Well, really what's going on back here by my head is the real trick, you know? That's how this works. So we've been paying attention to politics and governments and European Union and borders and all this shit. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, giant corporations are buying up, sucking up everything and becoming bigger and more powerful than countries. So now we've got countries, little mini countries that are corporate entities. I mean, they are little miniature countries. That's how it works. That's why they're able to have different sets of rules than normal people do, just as a person. Corporate entity can do a lot of crazy shit, man, and they only have one mandate, and that is to make profit at any and all costs, without respect to anything that it does to people. So what we're starting to see, thankfully, is finally people are waking up and realizing that we've been squeezed so much by these platforms, and that now you're seeing the awakening of this. So, and then once the awakening happens, of course, there's a backlash, because Facebook's just fine as long as you're posting your food and your recipe, what you had for lunch, and your cat photos and all of this funny shit that means nothing. But as soon as you start having some real talk, you're in trouble. So, what do we do with it? At first I was like, well, fuck it. I just won't have a Facebook account. And that brought me like a rush of relief, because then I was like, well, man, maybe I'll just focus on my YouTube channel, you know? Well, YouTube's got the same shit going on, so what am I going to talk about on YouTube that's not going to get me banned? I mean, I guess there's a lot of things I could talk about. But just makes me think, man, where am I going to focus my energy in this year? Where am I going to post my content? So but then, you know, my wife has a pretty substantial portion of her business that runs on Facebook, you know, and we do a lot of things together. So I need a Facebook account just for her sake more than anything. And plus, you know, I've got a following there, and that's dumb to just turn my back on that after having built it up all this time. And it's a loyal following, you know, people that care about what I have to say, and on some level, even if it just makes them chuckle a little bit, that's good enough for me. You know, as long as you can have people have a little bit of a difference throughout their day, it's good enough. And on other, you know, I've had people tell me on other levels, stuff's made them think differently, and lots of great things. So, and not to mention, you know, not a small part of this is that it does bring some income into my life. So, you know, when you got a following online, if you're doing something with it, and taking advantage of that opportunity, and it is an opportunity. When you've got a following online, it's an opportunity. You shouldn't squander it. Believe me, I've messed that up a few times. So it's dumb to squander this following I have on Facebook. You know, yeah, I could probably get people to go to some other platform, maybe. But, you know, if they're not already there, that's a big risk, you know, because it's just, you know, not people just are not going to go to other platforms yet. We're not there yet. Some will, but, you know, So in the end, what I've got to do is rebuild a new Facebook account. Well, this brought up all kinds of questions in my mind. Well, what about my YouTube accounts, all these Google accounts, especially AdWords accounts that it's impossible for me. I won't say impossible, but it's really fucking hard for me to open a Google AdWords account because they've got such a cloak and dagger way of figuring out who's actually run the account, and they tie it to, you know, your credit cards and what stuff you've done. Any piece of data they can link you to online. So what happens is that they find out that it's me, and I've been terminated from AdWords a number of times for stupid stuff, even stupider than these memes for brownie recipes. Dumb. So multiple times this has happened simply by, again, finding cracks in Google stuff, and then, you know, they terminate me. So but they are Nazis about the cloak and dagger shit with figuring out who you are. And so I figure, well, you just, you know, obviously what you think is, well, just go open another account. Well, duh, yeah. Well, it's very difficult because they link it together lots of ways, and it turns into a pain. So when I was doing a lot of heavy affiliate marketing, driving traffic, paid traffic from various sources, main source was Google. Obviously, it's the big daddy for traffic. And since I was doing that for so long, that was a gig, it turned into this whole thing about how to get new Google accounts, you know, with using different computers and mobile phones and wireless modems and changing IPs with VPNs, and even going and setting up new corporate entities. So we got new mailing addresses and new phone numbers, new emails, and all this stuff, even setting up banks, literal banks of laptops. So each one has a different MAC address on the computer itself. Everything, because they can track all that shit. And that works for a while, but eventually somehow they can figure it out, man. And what we found out is that this came from a guy that works inside of Google. He said that they just read your email. Anything that bounces off of Gmail servers, they have a legal right to read your email. And it's in the terms and conditions. So I got caught this last time several years ago. Caught. I was just running regular ads for a normal business, completely legal, that anybody else would run if I didn't have this stupid cloud hanging over me from Google. So they figured it out because of my email and linked some accounts together and terminated me. So long story short, I've been through this fucking ringer a lot, man, for going on 20 fucking years now. I've been through it with Google a number of times, and YouTube thousands of times. A lot of Twitter accounts over the days, automating that in the early days. Man, in the early days of Twitter, it was super easy to make money because it was all brand new and there weren't marketers there yet, man. And it came on the scene right when I was cranking up, starting to get really good at marketing online. And then there's Twitter, crush it. I remember my first few months on Twitter made like 50, 60 grand or something. It was so easy. Can't do it now. It's just, it wouldn't work. It's a whole different universe there now. But I've been through it, man. I've had all these accounts terminated. So part of me just wants to give a finger to the whole fucking mess and just go on. But in the end, like, I mean, I work online. I do my business online. My wife does her business online. It's just, unless I just want to drop out of society completely, it's just inescapable. I'm going to end up with some sort of these accounts. I mean, that's where people are. That's where my audience is. So I got to be there. So I got to, toss around in my head, how am I going to do this? Because it's a fresh start. I can do this completely clean now. And I know that I've swept out a whole bunch of people that I probably don't want in my account. Again, can't stop them from following me, of course. But most people will just think I'm gone and won't seek me out again. But so I know that the people that I have that will find me again it's a pretty good audience, you know. So I just don't want to take that for granted, you know, because it is built. I mean, this is all built on relationships that have taken years to put together, and that's what Facebook's whole gig is about. That's all these social media companies. That's what they're all about, is punishing you in a way they know that it hurts, because they don't give a fuck if I have an account or not. It's obvious because I created a new one, same phone number and an email that would be super easy to connect to the other one if you were checking anything at all. Plus, I use the same damn phone number and the same name. They're not checking for multiple accounts. They want more accounts open because most of their numbers are inflated anyway. They want more inflated numbers. Makes their shit look better. Year over year growth. Monthly average user, MAU. They get their monthly average user number higher because more accounts create all this shit. They don't give a fuck about that. They don't care about me having an account. They don't care about me. They don't actually care about any of the stuff I'm doing. What they want is me to come crawling back the new account and have to start all over again, licking my wounds and saying, oh, I won't do that again. I'm sorry. I'll abide by your fucking bullshit terms of service. That's what they want. You know, it's effective. Because I know some stuff that I'm not going to post again. I just don't post shit about Hitler. That's it, man. Even something as innocuous as Hitler ice cream cones. It was just funny. I posted a while back, got my account suspended for a while. And then this meme here, that was I don't know. It was one of these two. I'm not sure which one. But somebody reported one or the other. Or they had some sort of flag on my account. I don't know. Because it was suspended 2 minutes after I posted both of these. So, who knows? They don't care about this stuff. What they want is to create one kind of groupthink and then punish you in the only way they can. You know, and that's to take away all of your history, your follow, you know, and all that stuff that you've built up. Well, here's the thing that they don't fucking get. The magic is not their fucking platform. That's what that pisses me off, and why I don't get along with very many developers, programmers, coders, because they think they're fucking God. They think that they are the magic that's making all this shit happen. That's what all of these fuckers' problem is. Silicon Valley guys got their heads so far up their asses because oh well, we put the money in, and oh, we got these coders that built this cool shit. Well, now we're the gods of the universe. No, you fucking dumbasses. This is where everybody's missing out on it, all of it. The magic comes from the people and their relationships with each other and how they engage with each other and how people create. People create things to impress other people or to sell things to other people. It's not your fucking tech, you fucking assholes. Because people are in the end are going to connect with each other. You ban all the people you want, so you craft a certain narrative. Well, guess what? All of those people are just going to go somewhere else and build their own fucking thing. There's too many people like me who know how to code, know how to build things, that you've pissed off. Like, fuck it, I'll just go build my own. There's a lot of alternatives out there already, and funnily enough, I've been censored on 2 of them. On decentralized, censorship-resistant platforms. It's because these crypto guys got their fucking heads up their asses even more than the Silicon Valley guys do. Because the crypto guys now think that they're God because they can do this code with this shit, and all they do is fuck it up worse. All the coders do is make it worse. It started out fine. There was nothing wrong with it from the beginning. just keep adding on shit and fucking it up more and more and more, and thinking that, and then they fix problems that they created and then claim to be awesome. You fucking dumbasses. Programmers are not God. I would submit to you that programming isn't even a real skill set. Because guess what? All I gotta do is unplug the fucking power, and what are you gonna do? Got a world that's run amok, it's backwards, very 1984, with Aldous Huxley's Brave New World mixed all together. So what do we do with this? Well, I mean, I firmly believe that everything's getting better, just in general. I just believe that as a society, we are not on a death spiral to Mad Max, Blade Runner type of days. We might have pockets of that. We might have short bits of that soon. But it's not going to last. And, I mean, overall, entire world society is getting better. We're just resonating higher. People are waking up. And it's just simply because of the giant spiritual, energetic shift we're all going through. And so, I know this. I believe this. So, I guess I'm back to, well, I'll just start new, build a new account, start fresh, and now I can control very tightly who's my friends list, you know, and if that means anything. Control tightly who I got messaging me on chat, you know, on the messenger thing, which I hated before. Maybe I can get that reined in somehow now with a new account. I don't know. Gives me an opportunity to start fresh and maybe do some live streams and talk about things like these publicly that I haven't. Just because I've been afraid. Say the wrong thing, get terminated again. Fuck. Wow, Cole said he had the same thing happen right when the AI saw Hitler's face. It was shut down. That must have been what happened to me, because it was so fast. So fast. It had to be an automated thing. I've seen some people articles written by people who posted stuff about Hitler. It was just historical things, like completely not even making a statement or anything, just posting things about historical facts, and they got their account shut down. That's how knee-jerk reactive of the world we live in, and these coder type, Silicon Valley mindset type people who think that when they set some rules like, oh, well, you got to use our platform this way, and then that's how you're supposed to just automatically think, because they're the gods, they're the ones that built the thing that you worship now, and you have to abide by their laws, which are code. They say code is law. It's not fucking law, it's code, you fucking assholes. It's not that hard to code things. They make it into some voodoo science. They're like the wizards of the old days. Like, oh, you got the wizards, or, you know, old magicians fooling people. Like, they're not fucking magicians. They're not fucking wizards. They just know a little bit more than you do, and it's not that much more. Trust me. You don't got to go to school for 12 years or anything intense before you can build something with code. No, you can build something in 5 fucking minutes, less even. The rest of it's just building out how to make it more complicated. I mean, it's just not that difficult. The proof is in a school called Lambda. There's a Lambda school online. You can take an online course, and it's full school. They pay you. They pay you to go, and they cover your tuition the entire time you're going, and it's all day school. You learn to code, and at the end, you sign a contract. Before you start, you sign a contract. They pay you. They pay you that, like, they cover basic living expenses, and they cover your tuition, and then they help you get a job at the end, and then they get a percentage of your salary for the first 3 years. It's working great. They're cranking out graduates every several months. Every nine months, I think, is their cycle. 9 months, and then people going on and getting sometimes 6-figure jobs. 9 months, that's it. It's fucking nothing. I'm going from zero knowledge to being a coder, getting a 6-figure job, able to go develop this stuff. Just shows you it's not a big barrier of entry, but these people get puffed up because of the Silicon Valley startup mindset that all these big companies have got, and the social media, you know, has blown it up. These unicorn companies that run everything now, that's the gods that they worship, and everybody wants to be like them or to be acquired by them, and that's it. Or to build some shitty thing that makes no money or loses money the entire time just to get a large user base, so you can go and say, oh, I got 1 billion users. We make no money, but we got 1 billion users. Oh, let's do an IPO. So they go do an IPO. Then the guys that these smart guys, smart quotation marks, that put in money from the beginning, and these smart in quotation mark coders built, and now they're all fucking billionaires and loaded and fat and happy, and they did absolutely nothing except wreck society and fucking shit all over people to get there. The magic is in the people and the relationships. It's not the fucking tech. And our world has got it twisted where we are rewarding and looking up to the cocksuckers who just built tech. All they built was a chat box. That's it. Facebook is nothing but a chat machine. That's it. All the rest of it's just flowery bullshit to make you chat more so they can throw more ads in there. Karma says, it's funny to me how so many people live like whatever gets posted on Facebook. That must be real. Yeah, real and it. That's exactly what my friend was saying earlier. He was screaming and actually he's pissed. I heard someone refer to it as fake book, and I think it's true. How do you get through it? Fake book, yeah. I've been calling it fake book for a lot of years, and I even made a fake book logo for a while. I had it on my wall. But here's the thing, it's just like anything, man. It's David versus Goliath. What are you gonna do? It's one of my favorite bands ever, Rage Against the Machine. That's what they're doing, raging against the machine. But what do you? I mean, raging against the machine does nothing. In the Buddhist world, or energetically or spiritually, whenever you put energy into opposing something, the opposition grows equally. And sometimes there's a resonance effect, where resonance means that more is output than what is input. So if you feel forcefully against something, you get a what's the word? A disproportionate response. And if you're not have your own bandwidth figured out internally in you, that could cause a ping pong effect of triggering situations, you know, where you go, then that resonance happens where that energy explodes back at you. Then you're like, oh, fuck you. Come over the top even bigger. And that can escalate until everybody's dead. You know, that's what our ego wants us to do, because if everybody's dead, then we're safe. You know, at least you're not going to get hurt. We're all dead. It's insane, but that's what's happened when we've let our society engineer all these tools around us that do nothing but feed our ego, that feed that thing that wants us at status quo, or wants us to kill everybody until you got a small circle where you feel safe. At the extreme, that's what your ego wants. That's why you have people that have do these gruesome murders, and then they don't remember it. They're like, I don't remember. I just lost my mind. Because you can have rage just let go so much, and whenever you're just operating on pure animal, pure ego, I mean, fuck, you don't want to be around somebody that's just in that kind of state. Anything can happen, you know? And that's why drugs are so dangerous. Drugs aren't so dangerous because they kill you so much. I mean, that's true too, but the thing that drugs do that makes the drugs awesome and suck at the same time is that is that they disconnect you. They disconnect that bandwidth that we normally have. Then you just operate on ego. And if your ego is in a weird state, man, you do some fucked up shit. Or, you know, as you see people doing drugs or alcohol, and they can, like me, I get funny and a little bit more outgoing and telling jokes, and I want to be everybody's friend. Other people, you know, they want to get in fights and shit. That just depends on your state of your ego. And drugs and alcohol, what they do is a chemically forced separation of your brain from your body. Really, it's your prefrontal cortex separating from your limbic system. So you're just operating pure limbic system, pure animal, pure lizard. And it feels great because what it also does is it chemically forces you to be present. When you're just present, it doesn't matter what situation. You know, you're present. It's fucking amazing. Like when if you've ever been drunk, like not drunk where you're blacked out, we don't know what the fuck's going on, but just before that, where, man, everything seems great and you can just do anything. Everybody's your friend. It doesn't give a shit it doesn't matter where you are. I've been there. I've been in the middle of some skanky ass and nastiest bar you can imagine in the middle of Nicaragua. Just in horrible conditions. And having the greatest time ever. Drunk with people I'd never met before. Because alcohol, what it does is it forces you to be present. And then when you're present, all those filters come down that we judge the world with and that we hide behind and all that shit. That's why drugs and alcohol are so appealing, man. We got this society built around all this shit. Just feeds our ego, and then drugs us and feeds us alcohol, so that we have the other side of it too on the weekend, so that we don't fucking go crazy. So we have this giant battle of the two sides of yin and yang, and it's just when all we need is to be able to pull back from this stuff and have more human-centered design and application of technologies. That would bring all that energy level way down. And the world will change. Because we're all feeding the ego. We're just feeding the beast right now. And it sucks because, just like in the movie The Matrix, one thing you notice about The Matrix very heavily is, remember the one guy who wanted to go back in? He's like, fuck it, I don't like being outside the Matrix. I want to go back in. I've been there. I've been there for a couple years. I want to plug me back in. I don't want to know about this shit. I want to go back to being ignorant and dumb and thinking all this shit's fucking great. I want to have a steak taste like steak. But you notice, here's the thing about the Matrix. They all left. They all escaped the Matrix, right? They all went and formed their own society, and they got this underground, blah, 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 right? Man, that's very philosophical. But think about this. What did they do? What was their main thing that they did constantly? They went back to the fucking Matrix. They had elaborate stuff. They always looked like badasses in the Matrix. They put on their avatar. They always had shiny leather shit and fucking great sunglasses. They could fly helicopters and do great things. Here's the lesson, man. Here's what I'm going to do to answer your question, Carmen. I'm going to go back into the Matrix and put on shiny leather shit and fly helicopters and just play the avatar. It's a fucking game, man. Just play it. You can play the game and outwit these fuckers and get exactly what you want. And maybe run that close to the edge of pissing them off, but not do it. I know how to do it now. It's super simple, man. Because you know what triggers dumbasses. And besides, with Trump ramping up the rhetoric and what we've got, there's all kinds of bills that are in Congress right now and in different sort of investigations going on with practices in Silicon Valley and all of these companies. Something's going to change. especially as this shit gets ramped up like crazy going into the 2020 election. I mean, that's just gonna force the hand of somebody that can do something about it to do something about it. I mean, Mitch McConnell's Twitter account got shut down the other day. He's a politician. He's just I mean, there's laws against that, and they did it anyway. Like, fuck it, and they still haven't brought it back. That's where Trump's a genius. Because he's been tweeting this whole time from his personal account. He's tweeting as a person. Well, let's do it, Carmen. I mean, this is all it's about. I mean, so online, it's just whether you want to or not, you've got to invent some sort of character. And there's ways to be vulnerable and tell the truth. I mean, that's what's resonating with lots of people. So I don't know. I don't know the full scope of it. But I'm gonna try something new with it. I don't know. I'm not gonna come back raging, and I'm not gonna rage against a machine. That doesn't work. All it does is gets you frustrated and terminated and run around in circles, and you're not hurting the beast. You're not hurting the machine at all. Because you're this force. It's more like, let's go inside of it, use the tools that are there to expand and reach and lift up some positivity and change things that way. While still spreading truth. I mean, there's a way to do it. It's just like a boxing match, man. Sometimes you get punched in the face. It doesn't mean you lost. That just means you got to readjust. So I don't know. I'm at a little bit of a blank. I'm gonna continue posting memes, taming it down, obviously a little bit, and obviously no Hitler stuff. But I think I'm just gonna focus on doing more lives. Like, I mean, really, I should be doing list live stream on Facebook. Of course, I probably get flagged because I'm streaming somebody else's music in another YouTube video. So there's that. I don't know, man. It's tough to be a creator these days. We do creative things and get rewarded for them. You know, I mean, that's why you create. You want to feel like you've contributed something, you know. So far, for my last decade now of creating on the internet, I'd say not all, but mostly just getting kicked in the nuts for it. So, finally learning that maybe there's a different way. I need to, like, just dodge a little bit. Change tactic a tiny bit. And that really just boils down to using the machine and its tools to get what I want to get out of it, you know, and then moving, and then of course this is going to accelerate my move over to my own platform running on Bitcoin, but you know, that's a project. But my big lesson here is to slow down, take it easy. I mean, probably years ago I would have been on a rage and whatever. Now, like, whatever. I'll build it back up, you know, and the people who resonate with me that were following me before will find me again, and you know, probably find some new people. I'll guarantee I'll find new people. So these days, live stream's a key, man. The more you can live stream, the more that you can have long form stuff that people can connect with you, that's the better you're gonna do. And that's where it really boils down. Conversations. And that's where these platforms will eventually be, hopefully, well, eventually we be run that way, where build tools that actually help people have better conversations instead of trying to shut off diverse thought. Because if you can't have a diversity of thought, including fucked up weird conversations about shit maybe you don't want to hear about or talk about, then it's only going to get worse, you know? Because in the end, fuck man, we're all the same. We are. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it's fucking true. Whenever you actually get to know somebody, pre-Trump and all this shit, everything was fine. I mean, everything was fucked up in the world, but you know, we weren't at everybody's throats, you know, like it is now. Shit changed. And really what it is people woke up and they're fighting against giving up the status quo. That's hard, man. I fought against it for a while, and I still fight against it in a lot of ways. Hey, Andrew. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up with that. It's not much of a Freaky Friday. Maybe it is, I don't know. So I'm going to figure out how to get this done on Facebook. Just start doing some sort of podcast, video cast, live stream to Facebook, and be able to play music that I want to play without getting... I mean, there's got to be a way to do this. Music's a tough one. But anyway, the important part is the conversations anyway, so... I guess that's it for today, guys. Have a great weekend, and I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday.